UFC 248 is this weekend, and Blake, I don't know about you, but honestly, I really cannot wait for this card. We've had a good string of cards over since honestly since October of last year, and as UFC fans, we've been so lucky to be able to have all this, and I cannot wait for this Saturday between the much anticipated return of Sugar Sean O'Malley in the prelims, who I know you love, and we'll get a great rant on him here in a couple of seconds. It's kind of a subpar undercard for the for or three first three fights on the main card, but the co-main and the main event are going to be absolutely phenomenal fights. But Blake, we're going to get this thing started with you reacting to us about the return of Sugar Sean O'Malley. Take the floor.
All right, all right. Thanks for having me on as always. So we got UFC 248 coming up this weekend. I'm super excited for it, mostly because the return of my kind of favorite fighter at this point. Cody Garbrandt used to firmly hold on to that, and now it's kind of shifted over to O'Malley. But the thing that sucked is O'Malley's been out for the last 2 years. I kind of want to go do a rundown for the listeners and for you, just to kind of go over what he's been going through these last 2 years. So his trouble started in mid 2018, right leading up to the Conor McGregor and Khabib first fight. So he was scheduled to actually fight his current opponent, and he tested positive for Ostarine, which is banned. It's a banned substance. It's a performance enhancing drug. O'Malley, his camp, they still have no idea how that got in to his system. They're thinking it was a tainted supplement of some sort, but they've still never gotten any positive tests that have actually told them where that was, where that originated from. So fast forward, he thinks everything's good, right? He gets a 6-month retroactive suspension by the NAC, which made him eligible to return in March of last year, 2019. USADA had determined, I guess, the culprit to be a dietary supplement. However, in April of 2019, USADA issued a statement that linked 4 fighters who also tested positive for Ostarine for tainted supplements. O'Malley was among them, so that's a second positive, right? He was booked to fight Marlon Vera at UFC 239 in July. He was pulled from that show after traces of Ostarine showed up once again. After that, he had to keep a food log and, literally log every single supplement that he's putting into his body. And USADA's since found no signs of intentional use. But it's just a roller coaster for this guy. I mean, he thinks that he's in the clear. He gets his suspension, he takes his punishment, and the next thing he's suspended again. He has a positive test. I really feel for the guy because, like I said, he's never gotten any, straightforward answer. Like, this is where the tainted supplement, or not tainted supplement. This is where the Ostarine came from. He never has gotten a clear indication of what that, answer is. So for him to just be going through this, it's kind of like, all right, I'm taking care of my business and I'm just crossing my fingers. I hope I get to fight. It sucks. It sucks. Now, I'm done talking about the sad stuff and the kind of boring stuff, the stuff that no one cares about really, except for probably the guy that's fighting him. This guy, Sean O'Malley, he first was on my radar from Dana White's Contender Series. He fought this guy named Alfred. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. It's like Kashakian. But he just totally outclassed this guy. And this is when, we were talking about this earlier, this is when Snoop Dogg and Uriah Faber were, trying their hand out at commentary.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, not a half bad job. Uriah Faber, decent. Snoop Dogg, he just kind of said this. He said O'Malley probably 100 times during the broadcast. But hey, man, what do you expect between those two guys on commentary? It's hard not to. Hard not to.
But yeah, so he knocks this dude out. Looks super impressive. Gets the contract. They get him signed on for a fight like pretty much right away because that was in July of 2017. July of 2017. It's 2020 now, bro. Like, this guy has not fought since March 3rd of 2018. Like, that's insane. This guy's too good to be on ice. I'm
Ridiculous,
telling you.
man.
If you watch this guy fight, he throws everything. I mean, from the spinning elbows, spinning back fists, the heel kicks, the spinning heel kicks. He'll throw everything at you.
Bunch of
He molds.
uppercuts. A
Yeah,
lot of
he
uppercuts.
molds his fight like he basically tries to be like a real life UFC fighter. He says that he'll even sometimes go to the UFC game and like pick up new moves just by watching that.
It's
Uh,
apparent, honestly.
yeah, so I mean the
He's
guy is
wild.
just he's a wizard. Really interesting kid. He's right around my age. I think he might be like a year or two younger than me actually. I think he's like
So
23, 24.
so Blake, that makes me beg to ask, what are you doing with your life, man?
Nothing as cool as this guy is. This guy. And what's even cooler for this guy, I mean, he's got a one of two record right now for getting a win bonus. His fight against Andre Sukumtoth, it's so funny in the lead up to that fight. He was calling him Andre Soccer Mom. Uh, he got the fight of the night for that fight. So I mean, that's already 50 G's, baby. Um, Having a good start to the career, but like I said, 2 years with a layoff, man, that's rough. But you know what? In order to combat that, he's been very active in the video game community. He'll play Fortnite tournaments. He'll do all these types of events. And I think he was actually at one point, I don't know if he still is, but he was a part of like an actual pro gaming team. So dude is
Jeez.
like talented in more areas than one.
He's legit.
Yeah. So I
Man,
mean,
I would
I'm
not
just
want
really
to play him in the game of UFC 3.
no, he would kick your butt.
Oh, oh, I get handed.
I'm
Honestly, I
just
might
so
have a better
excited.
chance in real life than I would in the video game against him. Who knows?
No, he'd kick your ass in both equally.
Ah, shit.
But
Equally.
like I was saying, I think that this is the fight for me out of all the prelims. This is like the main event for the prelims. Basically, it's the last fight.
Oh yeah,
This is must watch. It's on ESPN, so it's free to
it's for
everybody. It's
free, man. You
huge.
have to watch this fight. You
It's
have to watch this
huge
fight.
for Sean O'Malley. I mean, they've done this kid every favor, and it's just like the stars are finally aligning. It seems
Mhm.
like for him, this third time's the charm. Possibly, hopefully, everything's gone good. He has, I think, one more. We're waiting on one more test because he's had like a test 30 days prior,
Jeez.
a test 15 days prior, and then a test 3 days prior. So we're waiting on the results for that test, and as long as that's good, we're good to go.
I just feel bad for him at this point, but he's a guy. He's 10-0. He is projected to be the future champion of the bantamweight division, and
There's a good
he
chance. I mean, he's huge for the division. There's no one that's
exactly.
this guy's size. I mean, maybe like I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know of anybody that could. No, I don't know anyone that's that size in the bantamweight division. I mean, I think he's
TJ
six.
when he was drugged up.
No, TJ's like 5'3", dude. I'm talking about height.
Oh,
Sean
you're talking about
O'Malley is like
height.
six foot
Yeah, no,
one,
the
6'2".
dude's he's ridiculously tall for that division.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but he packs a punch is the thing. Like you would think that maybe he would lose. He maybe turn like a Nate Diaz type fighter. No, this guy, this guy can hit. He looks lanky, but he packs a punch. So I'm really excited to see if he can pull out any crazy moves. He's been preparing for this guy basically for 2 years on and off. So I mean,
See,
he should know
all
this guy
five
in and
eleven
out.
of him. He has a solid 3-inch reach advantage going to this fight with Jose.
Yeah, and he knows how to use his reach to his advantage. He's and actually something that's really interesting is he recently did a grappling competition
Hmm.
where he got to go against the likes of like legends like man I forget the damn I shouldn't have brought that up and not know the exact names but um yeah he wrestled a couple of old timers from like the Pride days basically and actually put a beating on him. I think Jake Shields might have been one of them. I'm not too sure though. Might Gilbert Melendez, Jake Shields, one of those dudes, and he beat him. So it was pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm
Dude,
excited. I'm
that's
excited to
what's
see
up.
his
That's
comeback. I
what's
want to
up.
see him come back and perform well because everyone's
Hmm.
expecting like there's a lot of hype on this guy, right? So he needs to
He
come in and
has
he
to
needs to
perform,
knock this
man.
guy out.
Yeah, but
That's how you get it done.
I can't wait for this. What better way to end the free prelims card with Sugar Sean O'Malley, who really could be the third to last fight of the night when compared to what we got on the main card looking right now. You know.
They got to keep it interesting though. They got to spread the wealth.
Oh yeah. No, I don't blame him for putting him on for free, so they could really show him off to everyone.
Oh yeah,
Not putting him behind the paywall.
giving them the
Um,
platform.
exactly. Solid prelim just from that fight. Like we said, the main card is a little underwhelming. Maybe besides one fight that Blake also has some interest in between Oliveira and Griffin.
Yeah, we got Cowboy Oliveira going up against Max Griffin. The reason I have a little bit of vested interest in Max Griffin is because he is training out of Sacramento. So gotta rep the Sac boys. You know, Andre Feely, Uriah Faber, Cody Garbrandt, all the dudes that are out here in Sac putting on, Cynthia Calvillo, all those people. Appreciate the hard work they put in and the fact that they like to rep Sacramento. Uh, I am super excited for this fight. Max Griffin, the first time I watched him fight, he was beating up Mike Perry. And I believe that was in, I want to say 2018, maybe. I want to say it was like July of 2018. I was in Oregon visiting my friend Rebecca, and I was watching him at some Mexican diner, and
How was the food?
the food was good, but the ass beating was better. I mean, I did not I wanted Mike Perry to go out there and smash this dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out there and pieces Mike Perry up. So immediately I was like, okay, that guy beat a guy that I really like. So I'm not gonna hate on him, but I'm gonna definitely look out for him. Just because I was so impressed, I did not expect that at all, and he looked really well rounded. Um, this fight coming up against Cowboy Oliveira, this is just a great fight. I mean, both the guys are very active on the feet. They're well rounded everywhere pretty much, but like I said, the feet. This is the where this fight's going to take place is on the feet, at least in my opinion. I think both of these guys are going to feel like they can outstrike the other, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
meet in the center of the ring and dance. So I'm looking for either a hotly contested, split decision, or maybe a finish, maybe a TKO. Obviously, I'm going to be leaning a little bit towards Griffin just
Mm-hmm.
because they have a common opponent. And I know MMA math doesn't always work, but
Yeah.
Mike Perry was able to beat up Cowboy Oliveira. So I think Griffin should be able to take this W.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Moving right on into the co-main, then let's talk about this women's strawweight fight between the first Chinese champion in the UFC history, Zhang Weili, versus the strawweight queen, a murderer, an absolute killer in Yuan Young Jacek. This is a looking like it's really good fight on paper, and I think it's really going to show up come fight night. I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight between these two. We have to remember, Zhang Weili, this is her first title defense. She won the title off of Jessica Andrade a number of months ago with was it 42 seconds into the first round?
Yep. It
Just
was something it was very short.
it was an absolute mugging. She stole the belt. She kicked Andrade's ass and stole the belt from her, and so she wasn't really tested in that. So she, of course, she's had tests leading up to that fight, but this is going to be to have your first title defense in the strawweight division against the arguably the goat of the women's strawweight division. I'd say that she is the queen of that division. That's a rough matchup, isn't it?
It is a rough matchup, but let me put it to you this way. I think that Zhang Weili in her position, that was perfect. That was best case scenario. She got out of there under a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There's barely any tape on her. She's still relatively new to this organization. I mean, you'll have to go and look at her other organization fights, to try and get a better look at who she is as a fighter. And obviously, she's progressed at a rapid rate since entering the UFC. So you can't look at her old tape and think that she's still that same fighter, because she's clearly gotten to a level now where she can take on the best of the world and make them look silly.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think that works in her favor, the fact that she hasn't been displayed as much as Joanna has, because
Mm-hmm.
Joanna, she's been in war. She's been in 25-minute fights. Like we've seen her at her best. We've seen her at her worst. So there's really a lot less question marks when it comes to Joanna. She's going to be able to, Wei Li is going to be able to be prepared in a lot more areas, whereas Joanna, there's a lot more guesswork involved. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Wei Li is going to have a lot more specific of a game plan, I'm assuming. Joanna, she'll probably have to freelance a little bit, and that can go one of two ways. Freelancing, you can either hit that flow, or you're just going to be stuck in the mud and kind of reacting. And I really have my hopes up for Joanna. I really want to see her have a good performance. Um, but I don't see her getting it done against Wei Li. If I'm being completely honest, I think that Wei Li has the size advantage, and I
Mm-hmm.
think she has at this stage in her career, as crazy it is for me to say it, I think she has the tenacity and the violence advantage as well. And not to mention, this fight is personal now. This fight is extremely personal.
Man, if you guys haven't heard all the trash talking that's been going on about Joanna's comments about the corona, this and all that fun stuff, it's been wild.
Wei Li is actually a lot more outspoken than I thought she would be too. She's publicly come out and say like I want to beat this girl's ass. Like I want to knock her out cold.
You're not gonna lie.
Which
I
that
thought
gets me
that
fired up.
the corona jokes were actually pretty good. I thought they were good.
They're good if you're not gonna get in a fist fight with the person you're saying it to. You know, like because usually you can just say that on the internet, or you don't have those real life repercussions.
Mhm.
Joanna, she's gonna have to go deal with those. She's gonna have to go and stand in front of Wei Li and accept the punishment or deliver it.
See, I think one of the favorite things I saw, talking about Twitter, I put up something saying like, Joanna and Jacek's about to show up to the fight in a Reebok branded hazmat suit, and then I thought that was pretty good. But then I saw some dude comment on that, and he said that she's about to leave the place in a Reebok branded body bag.
Oh, ouch!
Damn.
Zinger.
But, I'm really looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a 25-minute war between these two. I think in one of the two fights tonight, I think we are going to hear the words "and new" come out of the mouth of Bruce Buffer, and I think it's going to be this fight. I think Joanna Jacek is going to reclaim her crown and go back to being the queen and being at the top of the strawweight division. I think that she's going to be able to use her experience advantage. I think her boxing is amazing. And I think the biggest thing is she's probably the most confident fighter we've ever seen, maybe besides Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that sentiment. She's very confident in her abilities.
It's really impressive because she's extremely confident, but I would not call her cocky at the same time, though. Obviously, she has her moments, but for most of her career, she's been able to back it up.
Yeah, she's definitely been able to back it up, except for against Rose Namajunas and against Valentina Shevchenko.
Okay, we can't talk about Valentina Shevchenko because she's ridiculous. She's absolutely amazing.
She's better than Joanna, just say it.
Well, no, oh yeah, she is better than Joanna. I'm not gonna argue. She's better than Joanna. Joanna is the third best women's fighter in the company right now.
Right now, yes, based off past accolades, but I don't know about at current fighting like potential. I don't know if she's number three.
Potential, maybe four. Of course, Macy Barber's up there.
Because who's number two for you?
Number two, Valentina Shevchenko is number two.
And so one would be Nunes. So
of course, Amanda Nunes is the best pound for pound women's fighter in the world. She's top 5 pound for pound.
So you're putting Joanna above an Andrade. You're putting her above Wei Li. You're putting her above Namajunas.
I'm gonna take a bold stand and say yes right now,
man,
because she's about to prove everyone. Yeah. Thank you, but she's about to prove it because she is going to take the belt away from Zhang Weili. She's not even going to have one successful title defense.
If she does that, then that I think that cements her in her places. Possibly even she wouldn't be as good as Amanda, obviously, because Amanda is like that.
Amanda Nunes is hands down
basically
the greatest women's fighter to ever grace the earth.
Right.
You know.
Well, so far, yes, I would say yeah. But Joanna, I think she would possibly have almost the coolest story, I would say, because she's been up there, she's been knocked down, and then she got back up, right? Like that's the story everyone loves, right? A former champion turned into an underdog and then reclaims the throne. It's great. But I just don't see it happening. I think Wei Li is just out of her she's just out of her mind right now, really. Just seeing her finish Andrade in the manner that she did, I haven't seen a woman beat some ass like that in a while. Like Valentina Shevchenko is the only woman that's beating ass like that right now.
But man, also I think it's going to be a fight. I'm saying that Joanna takes it by decision.
I'm saying Wei Li takes it third round TKO.
Third round TKO. You know what? I can't wait for this fight. But the biggest fight of the night, of course, is going to be the middleweight title bout between champion, undefeated in the UFC, Israel Adesanya, possibly the future of the middleweight division. Right now, he's the present, possibly the future, and he's working his way He's trying to be the GOAT. He's trying to surpass Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre as the GOAT of the middleweight division. And he's going to be doing this against a man who he thinks he chose this fight. He didn't have to take this fight. He chose this fight. Most people wouldn't choose to fight this man because he is a genetic freak. Yoel Romero is not human. Just to put it simply, he's like a Terminator. He's unreal with how athletic and how mobile and how powerful this man is. And this is going to be one hell of a scrap.
Yeah, I can't wait for this fight. I see a lot of chatter on Twitter. A lot of people are saying that it's not the right fight to make because Romero has lost his last 3 fights in a row, and like
Yeah.
maybe his last maybe 3 out of 5 or so. I'm not completely sure on that number, but I know he's been on quite the skid.
Mm-hmm.
See, I do see the logic in that. I mean, on paper, right? You see like, dang, this dude's on a 3-fight loss streak. He's fighting for the championship. But it's a different thing when this guy, like his past few fights have all been against the best in the world. You know, it's like he's fighting Robert Whitaker or he's fighting Paulo Costa, who would have been fighting for the championship if he hadn't got injured.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can talk the SHIT word all you want, but trying to cut back on the cussing a little bit.
Appreciate it, Blake.
Make the sponsors happy.
Oh yeah. No, but besides this, who else are really going to make this fight against? You can't.
Who are you going to put
through
in
the
there?
rankings? Robert Whitaker just came off a brutal loss. They're planning something with him right now. Paulo Costa, number 2, injured. Yoel Romero, he's right there, number 3. Then 4 and 5 is Jared Cannonier and Darren Till. In respective order. And I don't think you make the tough fight with Jared Cannonier yet. Obviously not Darren Till yet. You have Darren Till and Jared Cannonier fight each other, possibly for a number 1 contender spot. But
neither of those guys deserved the title fight yet, in my opinion.
No,
I mean, Cannonier is the closest one to touching it. Like, there is definitely a case that could have been made for him to make it, but still, it would on paper.
Each of them are a fight away.
It wouldn't be as attractive.
At least.
Like Yoel Romero, to a pure MMA fan that just wants to see the most intriguing matchups. Mm-hmm. How could you not be excited for this fight? I mean, it's the same thing. I'd compare it to the Aldo and Cejudo fight.
I was just about to make that comparison.
Except it's on steroids, right? Like this fight is way more interesting, obviously, because there are more weights on them. And
you gotta remember, in the UFC now more than ever, records don't mean as much as like your aura in how much you're going to sell in just the matchup itself.
Yeah, you said it right there. Sell. It's all about the dollar signs. It's we live in a capitalism society. So we're trying to make as much money as possible. If you don't bring in the dollars, you're not gonna get the big shows. Because I mean,
fight is going to sell.
If you're not gonna interest the public, then there's no reason for them to make that billing. Exactly. There's no reason.
What can you build better? Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero, or Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier? Both are great fights. I don't want to discount Jared Cannonier because he's my favorite in that division. He's one of the he's a future champion in that division, I would say.
I don't think he's a future champ, but he's a dark horse.
I'd say I'll go further than that. I'll say he's a future champ. But Yoel Romero, everyone knows he's a genetic freak. He has a neck bigger than most people's thighs. He was doing backflips at the press conference. It almost 200 pounds. He's probably walking around 200 pounds. He's doing backflips and doing splits. And he's like 40. What the hell is this man? It's ungodly. He's ungodly abilities. But if we're actually talking about, let's actually break down this fight. Israel chose this fight because he thinks he has to go through a guy like Yoel Romero to be able to be eventually named the GOAT of the middleweight division. And I think he's right with that. One of the things I think Israel has, I think people might underestimate his power. I think he has a lot more power than people give him credit for. Because in his fight with Robert Whitaker, he was rocking. He destroyed Robert Whitaker. He was rocked for half the fight. But even with that power, I think it's going to be a giant struggle to KO a guy like Yoel Romero, who eats shots for breakfast.
Well, see, I think you're confusing a little bit precision with power. Or should I flip that, power with precision? Adesanya, I mean, just look at him. He's not the strongest looking guy, right? He doesn't have the boulders protruding from his skin on his biceps like a Yoel Romero does. But he does have crazy technique, crazy accuracy, crazy speed. And when you combine that, I mean, that's just as effective as having that knockout punch, because it's tough to land that knockout punch and really, connect all the time completely. Whereas Israel, he can hit the spots that he's trying to hit. He doesn't have to hit you as hard as he doesn't have to hit you as hard as you'd think. All he has to do is touch you in these certain areas, and it'll be enough. So I mean, I think with Yoel Romero, it's going to be very interesting to see can he withstand that onslaught. Right, it's going to be an early onslaught from Romero.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to come out. He's either going to do one of two things. He's either going to do exactly what we think he's going to do. Right, come out guns blazing, try and finish him early, or he'll try and conserve like he did kind of in that second Robert Whitaker fight, and kind of play the counter game. But I think that's going to be a lot to deal with Israel Adesanya. Like, that's not a guy I want to be countering.
No, yeah. If Yoel wants a chance, I think he's going to have to come out and take this fight. I think it's going to go either one of two ways. It's going I the only the ways I see this fight ending in two ways: Israel winning by decision, or Yoel winning by knockout.
Wouldn't that be crazy if Yoel beat Adesanya? I mean, let's just hope first and foremost, he better make weight.
Yeah,
He better make weight.
yeah.
That needs to be the full focus for this week, especially for his camp. I mean, and that sucks. Like, that takes away from the fight on his side, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about the weight cut that much. But I mean, seriously, it's not fair to Adesanya. I mean, it's not fair to anybody in the middleweight division that a guy can just go out there and get these opportunities and not, take it
No,
as serious as other guys will.
that'd be awful if that does happen. Let's
If you
really
can't
hope
make
it
the
doesn't.
weight, don't take the fight. It's as simple as that. Really, it really
Exactly. He
is.
already denied. People are talking about speculating that he might move the step up to light heavyweight, so he has easier time making weight. He said that he doesn't want to do that, so he better make weight come Friday. But a
Yep.
couple things. I think this fight, if Yoel wants to win this fight, he has to get Israel to the ground. I believe Adesanya is going to be able to fully utilize his 6.5-inch reach advantage and keep Yoel Romero guessing and off balance. And Yoel will have to be able to take him to the ground. But the problem with this is that so Romero has a decent average of 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. That's respectable. But Israel Adesanya, although he doesn't have a takedown in the UFC, he has an 85% takedown defense, which is nothing to bet an eye at. That is pretty damn solid. Yoel, I think he's going to worry about the stand up as well, because Israel has the higher amount of significant strikes per minute. He has 4.47 significant strikes compared to Yoel's 3.32. And not only does Israel have more significant strikes a minute, Yoel absorbs more significant strikes a minute. He absorbs 2.95 compared to Israel's 2.07. That's almost a full punch difference on either measures, which is a fairly large margin.
Well said. Well said. I love those stats. Yep. I really do think it's going to come down to how Izzy uses his distance and manages that. If Yoel can possibly land that big shot, we'll finally get to see. Well, I guess we've seen Adesanya's chin get tested. I mean, he was rocked in
Mhm.
that Gastelum fight, so we know
That
he has a
Gastelum
chin.
fight was one of the greatest things I'll ever watch in my life.
But I think it goes without saying. It's one thing to get punched by Gastelum. It's another thing to get punched by Yoel Romero,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe Flying Need. So, and I'm not trying to knock Gastelum at all. I'm just
No,
saying this dude is a physical freak.
it's I really can't. I don't think I could really stress enough on how ridiculous Yoel Romero is. Of course, all the MMA fans know, that know anything about Yoel Romero know how crazy he is. But like to some of the casuals, or to some of the fans that are just getting into this, or some of our other fans that stick around for our other shows, and then they tune into these ones, Yoel Romero is unlike any human you'll ever see in your life. It's hard to explain. The camps they have down there in Cuba, or they train superhumans there in Cuba, just straight up.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what they're doing, but I don't know if it's government regulated or anything like that.
Well, why
Those
do you think
dudes
it's
are
not in America? The shit they do probably won't be legal in
they're pumping
America.
him with a bunch of stuff down there, man. I mean, geez, this guy, it's like he's sculpted, you know. He's just a sculpture. He's a real life
It's a Greek
sculpture that's
statue,
just
man.
walking around.
It's unreal. But I
Not
think this
fair.
fight, Yoel, when if Yoel is able to take this to the ground, keep Israel off his feet, Yoel's going to take this one. I could see Yoel winning by ground and pound if he's able to do that. But if just because of the weight advantage too, if you have a guy like Yoel on top of you, that's going to be a hard thing to get off of you. But if Israel is able to keep this on the feet and able to keep this stand up, keep his distance, take his shots when he needs to, and just be constantly moving, keep your Yoel off balance, and tee him up and get the decision. I don't think Israel should. I don't think Israel's going to be able to knock him out, but he will be able to get that decision, and that leads me to my prediction. I am saying Israel by unanimous decision, and I'll even go as far as say 49-46.
It's not bad.
What do you think? What are you thinking here, Blake?
I'm going Izzy as well. Uh, Man, I really want to see a TKO. I want to see a fourth round TKO.
You
I
think he
think
has the ability to knock out?
I think that's what he's trying to do to every opponent. I mean, this guy's on a quest to be the greatest of all time. So if he wants to do that, then he needs to finish these guys. He needs to go out there and he needs to dominate these guys. He needs to put them away, show that there's no, it's undisputed. He's the best, right? And then next in line's Paulo Costa. Let's see what goes down.
Hmm. I really can. There's so much stuff you can do with the middleweight division right now, and there's a lot of stuff you can do in a bunch of divisions in the UFC right now, and it is one of the best times ever to be a fan of MMA. But there we go. Fights to watch out for. Prelims, you gotta watch the Sugar Show over there on the prelims main event. Then the two title fights. It's going to be a blast. Blake is going with both champions retaining. I'm gonna say that the queen of the strawweights takes back her crown and beats Zhang Weili in a decision. And then we're going to have, I think Izzy's going to win by unanimous decision. And Blake is going with the more bolder route, saying that Israel Adesanya is going to get the technical knockout over Yoel Romero.
Fourth round.
Fourth round. We'll check back in. Of course, if we're right, we'll say, but if we're not right, we'll just ignore it and act like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, we never
But
made
thank
no predictions.
Oh no, what predictions? No, I'll just cut it out. Okay. But yeah, that's it, man. Those are things where you really have to look out for. And I cannot wait. Saturday can't get here soon enough. And
Oh
Blake,
yeah.
I cannot wait
If you're
to
listening
watch
to
this.
us, you need to hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Saturday. Hit us up whenever. We want to talk to y'all. These fights get us pumped up. I mean, we're talking basically 24/7 in our group chat. So hit us up, get included in the conversation. It's going to be a fun weekend. You guys got to watch all these fights.